we're going to hit adversity throughout games, throughout the season. We got to find a way to answer, and we just didn't do that tonight. They made more plays than we did, and, it was evident right away. They had more urgency than we did, and that's something we'll correct. Not everything was bad in this game. I don't want us to come away from this saying, we're the worst, and a lot to learn from. I'm glad this happened early in the season so we can correct things. It takes everybody in this building to keep winning and continue winning games, and like I said, a lot to learn from, and we'll watch this tape, learn from it, flesh it, and look to the next.
Where's that 46? Come on. Hey, listen, a great example, right? When your number's called, being ready.
DFL Football 25. How does that smack in the jaw feel, Bills Mafia? I'm not one to put this team down, but that was part of my language, that shit show last night. My daughter, about 7 o'clock, she comes to me and tells me, Dad, I can't go to school tomorrow. I got a fever. I'm like, yeah, the way she said it so casually, I go, yeah, you're just trying to, get off of school tomorrow. Would you run the thermometer under the faucet? No, a little 15 minutes. I take her temperature myself, check it, 101, and she's real tired, and gave her a little medicine. At about 8 o'clock, she's in bed. Very unusual for my kid. She's a night owl. And then I realized about 9 o'clock, this fever didn't come out of nowhere. She's clairvoyant and just knew, Dad, I'm going to sleep through this shit show, and you can have fun with that. I'm checking out. And she went to bed. She slept, and good for her. I'm happy for her. She's off school today because of it, but she's better now, for those if you're concerned. But pardon the noise if she makes any in the background here. Listen, it's nice to hear. I do agree with Alan on that. It is nice to get this out of the way early, and I think it comes from I think what we saw last night was a team riding a high against a team coming in off a low and proving themselves. I mean, I know they came off of the blowout sort of over Dallas, but they were 1-2, desperately wanting to get to 500, and they played like they wanted it. The Bills did not. And as optimistic as I typically am on this show, I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to gloss over the fact that we looked like ass. And our defense, as far as run, it was just exposed. Where is this supposed depth? Oh, McDermott's defense is always going to contend. Now, I don't want to get too harsh, though. I can't do that. This is the first in 43 games, I believe, since the Bills have lost by more than one possession. That's a pretty good testament to a good defense. So I'm not going to be too harsh. If we see the repeat pattern here, you're going to hear a whole different DFL podcast. But we're going to get into Chucky Calzone's thoughts. Doubting Thomas, he's going to share his opinion on what we saw last night. But you know what? I'm not going to let these circumstances dictate the mood. We are going to try and cheer you up a little bit just by fleshing through the game a little. Maybe as we move through the season, should we encounter another performance like that, I'll have a little different of a format in mind for you to raise your spirits on a Monday. But don't have too much to get you real excited right now. Let's talk about the problems. Let's go ahead and just air it out. If we got to own it, people. This is our team. We got to own it. If you can't change what you don't feel responsible for. And I know you feel like, oh, there's nothing you can do. You're not the player. Well, sitting around, sulking about it doesn't help anything either. So if we sulk together, we find company in misery. We can handle this. We can handle it, people. I'm here to help you get through it. I'm feeling just as miserable as you. Let's discuss. When we started, not the DFL itself, but when we started, the idea first came across the idea of doing a podcast for the DFL and what it was going to be. And that first thing I thought was how the hell am I going to handle talking about the next day after a game like last night, man? I'm looking at this one right now as humbling, and okay, yeah, we kind of needed a smack maybe, but it's still, it's difficult. And you guys are lucky, and I know you guys are giving me a bunch of shit last night stuff, and you guys don't have to worry about it. I have to go through and edit all of this and listen to your guys' takes and all this depression and sorrow and agony over the next few hours before I post this, so take it easy on me, all right? What do you got to say about it, Chuck?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just... the NFL is so random. Like, that team that beat the snot out of us last night, man, they lost to the Raiders a couple weeks ago, So it's just how weird. And the Raiders lost to the Browns yesterday. Like, it's just... the Jaguars almost beat the Texans.
I thought they were for
the NFL. I know the expression, man. Any given Sunday, it's just... yeah, it's hard when you're on the losing end of, like, a game like last night, man. I don't know. I'm very down today. I was down last night, man. It's just, I think
it hurts the whole week.
The Bills, especially Allen, since he's been here, I've noticed, man, like, if he doesn't start the game outright, he, like, sure, he's shown games where, like, he's kind of come back in the end of the game, but I don't know. I think, like, his like, McDermott always talks about mental toughness. I'm not sure about his mental toughness sometimes, man. Like, I think, like, if he starts the game out kind of terribly, the rest of the game, like, we get that sugar high Josh or just...
right, well,
yeah, I can't...
he didn't really go that way yesterday.
Putting it on him. Yeah, he didn't really go, like, sugar high Josh. But
they were mounting a comeback until that trick play.
He looked like he wasn't really on key, man. Like Galen looked off, man. He looked shook up.
Well, since you mentioned that, I was gonna go in a direction with, but I didn't want to go kind of odd. But I guess maybe you're right. The idea is I saw on last week, before the Jaguars game. Before the game with the Jaguars, I walk into the room and I see they show him in the locker room, and man, he's pumped and he's smiling and he's laughing. And I just felt like, oh, they won this game. Like, that was before kickoff. Just that immediate gut feeling of, oh, he's good. Yesterday, right before the game, they show him sitting on the bench before they took the field at the start of the game, and he just kind of exhaled, like, looking out like he just looked kind of troubled. Like, and I never really was quite keen on the fact that he throws up before every game. I get it, like, your nerves, but yeah. So is that all mental toughness, man? Yeah. I mean, I guess, but I don't want to be. I don't know. I'm definitely not putting that game on Allen. I mean, that one throw to Shakir was that was nuts, man. 1 foot falling out of bounds. There's a couple things to take away there, but this was the game ended when Henry broke off that 87-yard run. It really did. That's like that's set up so Collinsworth and whoever they're talking on. That sets it so they stop. The Bills aren't even putting their safeties high. They're playing up close, looking. I mean, you got to just watch him. That's an incredibly hard thing to beat. I think it exposed our run defense more so. It already was talked about as probably one of the weaker points on this team. And now we know it's something that we need to fix. And that's where I want to go, Chuck. I want to stay more positive with it, man, like that. I'm trying to. You can go ahead and sit there and cry and whine and throw a fit about it and all that. And yeah, maybe we should. Maybe we should rant a little too. But I also want to get some stuff in here that's a little more positive, man. What we saw that needs fixing. Because, dude, we're 3-1. We still own our division. We're doing all right. It's the 4th game of the year.
Yeah, sure, man. I get what you're saying. You want to be positive about it, and usually I am a very optimistic person. You know me, man. But yeah, like if Bernard should be coming back, right? But if he goes down again, you know, we don't have the personnel depth wise to handle like a heavy running team, man. We don't. We're just not built that way. Even with Bernard and Milano and Taron Johnson.
I understand.
Dude, our team is built to beat the Chiefs. We're not built to beat the Ravens. Like, that's the long and the short of it, man.
That's perfectly said, Chuck. Yes.
If we end up seeing them in the playoffs, man, I mean, sure, we handled them
you can
a couple of
out-scheme
years ago. But with Henry's
I
don't know, man. They got it on it's a different level, man. When you got Lamar and Henry, that's why they were exposing us in the screen game, man. Because we were bringing our safeties down. We had everybody in the box. So basically, we were keying on Lamar running, or Henry like running up the middle or like cutting it outside. We weren't like that. Leaves you exposed for just a quick pass out in the flank. And man, whoever's catching the screen pass, they make one move and they're gone. Or at least they got like 15, 20 yards, man. Those were some big screen, like chunk plays, man. And it just seemed like we had no... I think like McDermott was like, man...
Yeah.
Like, I'll give him that. I'd rather have that than like Henry running 80 yards or Lamar running 50 or 60. Like...
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't think we're built to beat that team.
No, it starts with, and that's, I was going to say before, it's Henry, man. I mean, like I said, that's what kind of killed us in the beginning, but that's not the first time, man. I think it was the COVID year, wasn't it? That Tuesday night game, didn't he break off the same thing with first play of the game, second play of the game, playing with the Titans? He's insane, and I'm not, and our team cannot handle a 250-pound running back that size, man. I mean, that guy is nuts, man. And I just kind of tip my cap to Baltimore for what they've assembled back there, because that's my God, that's just bully ball, man. And it's humbling for Buffalo. Now, I know what you're saying. If we meet them in the playoffs, but what chances do you think like we could out scheme them? Because there's ways to be every team that's ever been on the field does something magical, and you go, there's no way to beat these guys. How do you beat them? Then you get another team in there and they go, oh yeah, okay, you figured them out. Then dude,
it's just hard.
It's got to come all down to planning when you're built like Buffalo is,
It's similar to like how defenses have to play the Bills. There's just so many threats with Allen being able to run and air it out, and we got a pretty good run game. But like with Lamar and Henry, it's a different level, man. They're more dynamic, because like Henry could just plow people over, but he could also turn it on and just like burn people. In Lamar,
that dude's a beast, man. I'll just give it to him. I mean, my God. And here I thought, though, yeah. I think I sold myself on the idea that he's just aging. But he's younger than me and he's faster. And my goodness, yeah, man, we gotta bring in Doubting Thomas here and get his notes because I want to hear, because we did put out a preview episode of the pod. You were on a plane.
30,000 feet above your head, you bastard!
Going to play for our audience your excuse for why you wouldn't record a prediction from the airplane bathroom, but that's okay. Now with the loss, it's not quite as amusing to me anymore, man. Let's get Doubting Thomas on, because we all had takes. Your prediction was 38 or 34-24. I said 34-27, and the Doubting Thomas had he doubts that anyone could beat the Bills. Well, we learned there, I guess. So
good morning.
You sound a little too chipper for that game last night there, Doubting Thomas.
Well, it's called reality, and as much as I continue to doubt that any team can actually beat the Bills when they're up on their game, I can't take anything away from the Ravens, but I can tell you this. If it wasn't for a knee to the jaw, the Ravens probably wouldn't have had the momentum going in for that second score of theirs, which was an uncalled for penalty on Moat. I mean, come on. He didn't have to knee that guy in the jaw and give them a first down and added 15 yards closer to the end zone.
Yeah, no.
I mean, the defense had the Ravens on, I believe it was a 3rd and 12 or a third going on 4th and 12, and he knees the guy in the jaw and it gives them a first down, 15 yards closer to the end zone.
Yeah, it was
It
terrible,
gives
man.
them a little momentum, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it goes fast forward to the second half. The defense comes out. They stole the Ravens convincingly. The Bills go on to score. It took a little time to do, but like I say, the Ravens defense was playing tough, but we still went in and scored that touchdown. Now the defense comes out and stalls the Ravens again, and then the Bills have that unfortunate fumble, putting the Ravens in scoring distance and putting the momentum right back on their side. So, like I say, I don't think all of it was the defense's fault, although our run defense could have used a little more oomph. But
Well, no, it's not all the defense when the team puts up 10
Good.
points, man. That can't be all defense.
no,
We had
it can't be, and that's what I'm saying. You know, and there was mistakes on the offense, and the first drive the Bills had when the Ravens were up 7-0. The Bills get the ball. Okay, they made some really good plays to get down with the scoring. Within the red zone, and then you have two holding calls pushing them back and forcing them into nothing but a field goal attempt. And that was also a momentum changer early in the game, because that gave the Ravens more confidence, because now they have you back and you're going into a field goal situation compared to tying the game. If the game would have been tied 7-7, now you're looking at a different attack from the Ravens, because it's a tie
100%.
score.
Yeah.
When you're up by 4, you might take a little bit more of a chance, a little play action or what have you, and try to get the ball down the field. Now, I get it. The Bills had to be a little more run-oriented defensively. I get it because of who the Ravens are and their MO. But,
Yeah.
by having those holding calls, the holding penalties, pushing us out of a 3rd and 2 and putting us into a 3rd and 22,
I think it was a little bit of a dirty game on both sides. I mean, you saw the Ravens at the end of the game get penalized. They chucked, that smack to Kincaid, wasn't it, right into his face?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a dirty game. But one of the turning points, I think, and this isn't any sort of a hot take here, but I'm sure they're talking about it all over national news. I can't listen to it right now when the Bills lose. I just tune out for a bit off of the information from around the wide world of football. But when they were building momentum very well in the second half. 3 and out, touchdown, 3 and out. And then we're driving, and I kind of love the call, but was it because that's where really that just kind of ended it. It would have been a 10-point game if they had scored that, or brought it down to even a 4-point game. So that would have given them 17. Would have been a 4-point game. And that's trick play, and that trick play. I mean, I think it's a great design. Maybe not the best time to call it. You just keep playing your game, pounding the rock, throwing the short pass, getting the yards after the catch, doing what you were doing, getting the first downs. But I like that they called it too. Maybe was it more a bad design, or do you think it was more maybe Samuel shouldn't have tossed it to Allen and should have maybe just taken the loss that it would have been? It would have been behind the line a couple yards instead of trying to toss to Allen, who tried to make some magic happen and fumble. What do you think, Joe? Was it more a bad time to call that play, or just horribly executed?
I think both, man. I think that's a terrible time to get cute. When we were down 11 at that point. Sure, if it would have been executed, and it would have possibly continued like a huge momentum lift towards the Bills, but yeah, I mean, we're talking in hindsight, man.
Right.
But still, like, being where we are right now, I think it was a bad call to make that a trick play when you're down 11 in the third quarter.
Right.
I thought that was stupid.
Right. I think Brady getting a little too cute, man. And it's a shame because that's really where it just feels like the whole, right? They scored on that possession, yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
No, they scored on almost every possession.
Yeah,
almost.
almost.
Did they bring?
Did it?
Did they even bring Tucker out on the field to kick a field goal? It was all touchdowns or punts.
I think they scored like a play or two after it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
We got our asses handed to us, man. That's the long and short of it. And so, what does it say about the Bills? Let's just talk kind of about that. We don't really need to rehash all the game. I don't think there were too many horrible penalty calls, but there were just some undisciplined penalties that were there. So I'm not blaming the refs in any way here. There's not too much more for me personally to say about the game. You guys want to wrap up any thoughts about the game itself? Go ahead, and then I just say we kind of give a minute to what you think this said about the Bills, what they need to do to fix it, and how optimistic maybe you can be about it.
There wasn't a lot of flags thrown in that game, so that's not it. I mean, overall, I think it was just that.
Listen, Downey Thomas, you got 30 seconds to rant about the game, and then we're done talking about the game, and we're just going to move on to what the Bills can do to fix their problems, okay?
When the offense was on the field and they started to get some momentum going, it seemed that they let it slip away. Being the drop pass or what have you, or getting caught behind the line, they didn't come right back with something. Like normally, you give Allen a 3rd and 10, a 3rd and 15, he makes them. He makes them on a continuous basis.
All right, time's up, man. That was 30 seconds.
Okay.
So, all right, let's just forget about that game, man. We're putting it behind us. We're moving on to Houston now. I know not entirely, but let's talk a little bit about what you think the Bills can do. Let's get Chucky to weigh in on what do you think the Bills most need to do after watching that game, and can they do it?
Well, as I said, several minutes ago, man, I think the Bills their defense is more built to beat the Chiefs, man, or a passing-heavy team, which Houston is. Okay, I don't think we're built to beat heavy-run teams, man. That's why, even a couple years ago, that's why we lost to the Titans when they had Henry, because they ran it down our throats, man. We don't have the personnel to handle heavy-run teams, but we do for heavy pass teams. Those are the players that we have, man. We have quick, athletic players that can tackle. All right, that's how our defense is built. So, I think we're definitely better equipped to face these Texans, man. So, again, I'm too negative right now to make a pick, but I think we're to be just fine against the Texans, man.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll make picks on that maybe for a little preview game Saturday night or Sunday morning if I can get it out or something. But if we can do something like that, but yeah, I understand as they were saying our players, guys like Dorian Williams, that center of the field, even like you said before, even if Milano's a hard hitting, but at the same time, problems started coming in where I knew they would with the tight ends, and I think that's one area we need to focus on.
Absolutely right. Our defense is built for a pass, protecting against the pass play and stuff. And that's why they run so much to the outside. When you go to the outside on the Buffalo's defensive line, sure, they're fast, and if they get in there, they can make the hit and they can possibly stop you. But if they get past that initial line, that initial tackle or guard on the defense, and now they're going into the secondary, it makes it rough because our guys they're smaller. I mean, they're quick, they're hard hitters, they have the ability to tackle, But when you're going up against guys that are 240, 230, 50 pounds, it makes a difference, especially if you're only at, 195 or 180, And it takes a lot to stop 250 pounds. Against the passing teams, we're going to have much more success.
Yes.
I feel with our defense,
Right.
And I was hoping that the Ravens were going to rely a little bit more on their passing game. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that they were aiming against the run more. So his play actions were working just dandy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was doing screens.
Yeah.
So, this also helps. Anyway, yeah, I think that's Charlie's absolutely right. That's what they have to work on. And they have to work on getting a little bit more physical or a little bit more muscle up front. I don't know where you get them now. Season's already started.
Yeah, you're not bringing players in, man. I don't think we need to bring.
You're not making trades and stuff right now. You can, but
I don't know.
It's hard to find.
Let me say, I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to start bringing in players, and I think you play our brand of football, keep guys healthy, get back guys like Terrell Bernard, and play the defense we're designed to play. And if you have to change things up, start doing playing a couple of wild games against some of these teams like the Ravens, we can go. Well, let's hope that we don't face them in the playoffs. But I think we still have a winning season, taking the division and all of that with the way that we do play and the players we do have.
If it comes down to facing them in the playoffs, which very well it could be, yeah, they're going to get the home field advantage if it ends up on an even line.
You want to wrap up any ideas? Say your last couple of cents, any last words or notes you have about the team last night and how they can improve.
They have to play a little bit more relaxed, think better, think clearer, react to the situation a little bit better. I could see it. They were playing a little nervous, especially after that first breakaway run. The defensive line was playing a little tense. And it's hard to get out of them, especially when something happens like that. So, yeah, I can see why they were playing that way, but I think that's one thing that they have to really concentrate on and to play a little bit more relaxed and stuff on their defense.
All right.
Making better decisions. So,
all right. Listen, Doubting Thomas, thank you so much, man.
Playing a little on edge.
All right.
Night.
Is he going to pick next week's game or what?
Well, we'll probably have a preview pod. I think we'll have the on-the-spot preview pods for, before the game.
But I do pick them to win. But I'll always do that, even
You got it, man.
It's just because
it's what we do in Buffalo, man.
But that's
right.
Besides the point.
All right.
But in the reality of it, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I think they have to do.
Yep, we got to let you go, man.
To play and relax like they did their first 3 games.
All right, Doubting Thomas.
Okay.
So let's just wrap up, man. Yeah, it is.
It's a somber day in Bills Mafia, man. Yeah, they just got handled. They got outplayed. They got outcoached. It just looked like our defense was not ready to play them at all. Our offense either, but yeah, to me what stands out is I don't know, I think our offense would have had a better chance if it seemed like we could actually stop that offense that we played. Man, they didn't have a shot. It just seemed like our scheme and our defensive makeup just does not have what it takes to beat that team. I'm not saying that, McDermott can't figure something out and we can stop them next time. But,
right, that's what I'm saying. But
yeah, and until we see that, man, last night it just looked like we don't have the tools or the brain power to take care of that team, man.
Yeah, that was they put on a show on us last night, man, and I'm just looking at it as a humbling. And yeah, they make the team. A game like that I do feel can make the team tougher. Can make them take on a team like that down the stretch. Now you get, is this too optimistic to say Milano back by the end of the year? You get back Terrell Bernard, and you have Taron Johnson. I know they're not the biggest; they're still more built for speed guys, and I understand that. But you add them in with a team that now gets through a season where they're, they meet a team like that in the playoffs. They might have a vengeance on their mind, and that might make them build the mental toughness you were saying that we seem to be lacking, and I can agree. So I know it's a downer, but I'm trying to stay positive, my friend.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, always, even though it's a sad day, you know, it's always fun to do this with you.
Absolutely,
Really.
absolutely.
Hey, let's try to keep our heads up, man. You know, we're 3-1. You know, we still have a better record than that team.
Mm-hmm.
We're still ahead of in our division. You know, we're probably gonna run away with our division. You know, I don't want to jinx anything, but
yeah,
we'll see how the Dolphins look tonight. But the Jets looked like they looked terrible yesterday, man. I think Rodgers is cooked.
Yeah, when I was watching Rodgers yesterday, I said, hey, maybe Chucky's right. He looks, especially after he took a couple of those hits and he's just limping off the sidelines. I said, Rodgers, man. I said, dude, I think it's time to just say, hey, see ya.
Yeah, and then banged up 49er crew still handled the Patriots. So,
right.
Yeah, we should, you know, there's still a lot to be optimistic about.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that,
Yep.
you know, when are we going to be able to turn the corner here with this
Right.
team? Hopefully it's this year, man. Hopefully last night was just you know, an outlier.
Well, a bit of that and a bit of a teacher, man. You know, help them, you know, it build. You know, like I said, it's going to make them make them more aggressive, make them play even a little smarter. We know where our weaknesses are for sure, and you know, help us attack them. You know, you need to. No, nothing improves without you know, you got to learn what doesn't work before you learn what works. And it did feel like they were coasting a little earlier this season. Like they were just, come on, this can't be an unstoppable team, can it? It's like, hey, come back down to earth. No, you're not unstoppable. You got some things you got to fix. And I say we look at it that way, and we'll see. I'm gonna pay attention to the injury report and all that, and we'll talk about that later in the week and get a preview pod up for sure. But
Well, all right, man. I got to run. You know, go Bills. You know, to the 2 fans that we have, thanks for listening, guys. Have a good week, everybody. Go Bills.
that was painful, folks. I'm not gonna lie to you. That was tough. But we got through it. We did it. All right. And I don't know what I'm gonna say here. I wanna try and lift your spirits. Maybe use this week to lick your wounds. Get into some meditation. Go harvest some pumpkins. It's gonna be October tomorrow. You know, get into the fall spirit. Go have some apple cider. Go pick some apples with the family. Do something to take your mind off of this team for the next day or two. We'll get the injury report, and we'll meet you back here to prep for the Texans. That's got the Dig storyline running through it, so that's going to be fun to talk about, fun to watch. We get to watch this team grow, man. They're going to keep your spirits up, Bills Mafia. It's good. Get this out of the way early. We took that punch in the mouth. I can't tell you how many things I learned in my life from a punch in the mouth. There's been more than one. If you've been listening to me and hear me talking, you probably know why. Hey, look. Enjoy the rest of your week as best you can. Clear your minds. Thank you for listening. And we'll see you, or I'll be talking to you next Monday. And look forward to the preview pod for the Bills Texans. And in the meantime, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Come on, people. All right. Take care of yourselves. Go Bills!